Hello everybody, SlimKirby here. Welcome to my next Let's Play. Gonna be playing Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy. A lot of people have actually been expecting this Let's Play for a little while, just because, you know, I was kind of in the habit of doing a main series and a Game Boy installment like every year. Just did not have a lot of time last year, especially with my modified schedule, so was unable to get to this game, but I am here kind of in between some big projects coming up, and I figured it was time to finally get this game taken care of. So, gonna be playing this game for the Game Boy, Mega Man 3. You know, I always find the Game Boy games interesting, especially if it's a Game Boy game that's kind of like a modified version of an SNES or NES game, or NES in the case of this game anyway. Just because, again, they're kind of like smaller scale adventures of the main games that they're supposed to be representing. Donkey Kong Land was, you know, a huge example of that, and I think the Mega Man series is also of the same mind. And they've done a lot of very interesting things with these Game Boy titles, so really curious to see what this one's like again. I have played it before, but it has been a while, admittedly. As usual, for a lot of the Game Boy installments, they kind of represent, at least in terms of the Robot Masters, but even just kind of gameplay mechanics as well. So it features kind of some stuff from Mega Man 3 on the NES, but also features some stuff from the following game as well in the form of Mega Man 4. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this started here. So from the get-go, we have 4 Robot Masters. We have Spark Man, we have Gemini Man, we have Snake Man, and we have Shadow Man. So in other words, these are the 4 Robot Masters that were not used in Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy. And I'm going to go ahead and get started here, but there is actually a little story I want to tell in regards to Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy, and kind of how this game became a thing. So yeah, we're going to start with Snake Man, just because snakes. I've also always really liked the design of Snake Man. I just think he looks like really, really funny. So yeah, the interesting thing about Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy, or actually I guess it's more of a factoid about Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy. Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy actually is the only Game Boy Mega Man game that had a unique developer. I forgot the exact name of the developer for the first game, Dr. Wily's Revenge. But for Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy, they tried going with a different developer, and Capcom and Keiji Inafune were not very impressed with Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy. They just didn't really like the game too much. They didn't think it was really reflective of Mega Man 2, which I feel like a lot of people would probably agree, just when you consider how beloved Mega Man 2 is as a game to begin with. But they also just felt like the game wasn't as hard, or not really hard, but it didn't have the same challenge that the original Mega Man 2 game had, which is fair because Mega Man 2 for NES is way more brutal than what Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy is. To be honest, though, I kind of actually enjoyed kind of the easier game that was the... Oh my god, I can't believe I died right there. But yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed kind of the simpler nature of the Game Boy version for some reason. I'm one of those who, while I don't think Mega Man 2 is a bad game by any means, it is definitely, I think, the most difficult NES installment, and probably one of the harder games for me to go back to from the original series. But yeah, Capcom was not very happy with the product of the second Game Boy game, so as a result, they went back to the same developer that they went with for Dr. Wily's Revenge, and they kept it with that developer until the end of the 5th game on Game Boy, which is where they kind of stopped. At least kind of the recreations of the classic series anyway. So yeah, I always kind of found that interesting, mainly just because, again, I don't think the Game Boy version of 2 is really that bad. I actually kind of enjoyed it. The music is interesting. That drum beat of the final stage. Okay, there we go. I actually made it that time. So yeah, a little fun fact of the history of Mega Man games, I guess. You always get that little fun stuff. Fun little commentary, I suppose. I'm also not incredibly clear on the plot for this game, but I mean, what it ultimately boils down to is Dr. Wily is a bad man and he does bad stuff, so we gotta stop him. That's pretty much what the plot always ends up being in the Mega Man game. I did look it up beforehand, but I'm like, it was not something I could really remember. Because it's just so generic and just so much like all the other Mega Man plots. So yeah, here's kind of an implementation from Mega Man 4. We have Eddie, who gave us kind of a, not really a bad item, it's just we didn't really need it. I would have much preferred, like, almost an extra life, if I'm being honest. It's okay, we'll progress anyway. So yeah, for this jump right here, I'd recommend just kind of going for it, because those enemies right there are kind of unpredictable. And I don't like messing with them if I don't have to. This is the kind of design that I'm not really, like, too fond of when it comes to Mega Man games, just because, well, for one, enemies respawn if you kind of go off their initial spawn point on screen. And two, the jumps can be, like, really, really tight and really obnoxious. But some people love that, and then, like, there's a reason why Mega Man is such a well-loved series. Also, if it wasn't obvious, yeah, Mega Man does have some of the implementations from at least this point in the series. He has the charge, he has the slide. Honestly, two of the best Mega Man maneuvers, at least in my opinion. Especially the slide for just, like, you know, movements and stuff. So I'm hoping I can at least make it to Snake Man. And not die here, thank God. Okay, I think he's just down here. Perfect, okay. So even if I die, I have at least another chance to fight him, which is good. But yeah, you can pretty much expect the Robot Masters to be pretty similar to how they worked in their base game. Maybe their patterns are a little modified to compensate for, you know, difference in system. And I had low health going into the fight anyway, so I'll give that another shot. I should be able to take him down. I honestly see a lot of people fight Snake Man first in this game. I don't know if, like, he's supposed to be the easiest. It just kind of seems that he is the easiest. I might actually die here. Oh, come on. I could have had that. So that's a little unfortunate. I am going to have to redo this entire stage, but I'm not going to force you guys to watch that, so I will be right back, and we're going to give Snake Man another shot then. So, hold on, guys. Okay, I did make it back here. I'm going to actually try something a little bit different this time. I'm going to try to not use as many charged Mega Buster attacks as I was before, which they do a lot of damage and they are effective, don't get me wrong, but honestly, you do a lot just with like one normal strike of the regular Buster, and as you can see, even though I started out with less damage, I am putting more damage on them, so, you know, it just kind of adds up after a while, so don't be afraid to just use your normal Buster if you need to, and there we go. Snake Man has been defeated. We have beat the first of the, well, at least in terms of the first tier, the first of the 4 Robot Masters, but we know how these games work. 4 is not the magic number here. And as a result, we get the Search Snake, and we also get the Rush Coil, which Rush Coil is a rush weapon they usually get in a lot of Mega Man games, just kind of gives you a nice little boost jump. So you can now use that, in addition to our first Robot Master power. And here is the password screen, so if you want to continue on and play this game along with me, you can use that as a way to use basically my file contents. So with that, we have Snake Man, and we now have Snake Man's weapon. As I normally do with these Mega Man playthroughs, is I try to go for the weakness, or the robot master that has the weakness of the boss I just defeated. And I believe Gemini Man is the one that has the weakness to the Search Snake. So we're gonna go with Gemini Man next. So hopefully we take him down. Hopefully we take him down. I've always been a fan of the aesthetic of Gemini Man's level as well. Just like a really nice kind of crystallized ice look to it. It's really neat. It's really beautiful, really nice looking, I guess you could say. It's almost like I can just say I like it, and that's good enough. Because I do like it. I do like it, for sure. But yeah, honestly, like, as I noticed from replaying Snake Man's level, and just, again, Mega Man, honestly, it's a pretty difficult game. It takes a lot of practice, but you always feel good when you beat it, because there's, you know, a lot of different things. Like, there's a lot of stuff and a lot of aspects of the Mega Man series that I don't like. BS enemy placements, stuff that you wouldn't know unless you actually play the game before, like that kind of placement. It's really obnoxious, it's really annoying, but, you know, it's kind of a learning experience. It kind of teaches you that, okay, you have expectations, don't have them. You know, it's trying to keep you on your toes, and honestly, I think the Mega Man series has actually done a really good job with, like, teaching me how to, you know, do a lot of things right when it comes to video games, specifically these classic video games that, you know, have been around for years and years and years, and again, you'd be surprised what you can learn playing a game like this. I honestly really enjoy playing the Mega Man series. That's like one of the, like, that Mega Man marathon I did when I started the series, like, several years ago now. I always enjoyed that, just because, like, you know, before that, I had never really beaten or played much of a Mega Man game before. And there I was, just beating most of them in just the span of one marathon, and it honestly felt pretty good. It felt really neat to go through all the different games and actually learn how to beat them properly, and, you know, all that other good stuff, so... You know, if you've ever been, like, discouraged from trying out a Mega Man game because, you know, they seem like they're pretty difficult, and they're definitely difficult, you know, still, give them a try anyway, because you'd be surprised with what you can do with them. It's the kind of, like, NES hard that I actually appreciate, because it doesn't really feel like it's unfair, it just feels like it's hard, it's difficult. And I think that's neat. So as you can see, I've been getting kind of lucky with this section right here. I've gotten a couple of... I got an extra life, I've gotten some heals, like I got right there. You can also just blast through these blocks normally, with just a normal, like, powered-up Buster Shot like that. It doesn't hurt to honestly spend some time to kind of grind some lives and health from these guys if you need it. Because again, like, this game series, it is hard, it is difficult, and it's nice to have safeties. And, you know, honestly, I think the drops are pretty damn generous in this game. Sometimes you can get, like, extra lives without even trying. So it doesn't hurt to, if you feel like you need some more extra lives, use a stage like this that has, like, a lot of enemy spawns, and kind of use that to your advantage. Make the most of what the game is giving you. Some people kind of use, like, the E-Tanks as a way of doing that, where they don't use the E-Tanks until the very end of the game, because that's where the game gets the hardest. And, you know, there is a way you can kind of grind the E-Tanks a little bit too, so... Again, definitely make the most of your playthrough of these games. If you find something you can use to exploit it, don't be afraid to exploit it, because chances are there's probably a lot of other gamers who did the same thing when they were younger. Or maybe they even still do it now, like I do, see? See how I kind of switched it up there? This is why video games are great, guys. Please don't respawn. I want to say that penguin guy wouldn't have respawned, but still. You never know with the enemy spawns in this game. Never truly know. Oh, shoot. No. There we go. Nice little health refill. No! Oh, come on! Why did I not make that jump? I don't think I went too far back, at least. Actually, I did go kind of far back. This is... this is back in the first one of these rooms. So you can also just kind of skip through enemies too if you find value in doing that. Which I definitely found value in doing that right there, because penguin. Okay, we made it to Gemini Man. I'm okay with this. I'm obviously gonna die right here, because... Again, we just got here, so... At least we have 2 tries as opposed to just 1 extra try here. So as I said before, Gemini Man is weak against the Search Snake weapon, so... We're gonna use that to fight him. Man, is he weak to it. They're just snakes. What's so scary about snakes? Snakes can be creepy sometimes, I guess. So yeah, with that, we have beaten Gemini Man's level, and we get the Gemini Laser. Yeah, let's go ahead and press the A button, and now we only have 2 Robot Masters left. I think I am going to go ahead and do 1 more. So, let me think here for a minute. I believe Shadow Man is weak to Gemini Laser. If I'm not mistaken, yes, that is correct. Had to make sure, because, I want to say Mega Man 3 was one of those instances where it wasn't a straightforward, like, the 8 Robot Masters had, like, a giant cycle. There was, like, 2 different cycles where there were, like, you know, a sequence of 5 Robot Masters that had weaknesses to each other, and then there was, like, a smaller sequence of 3. I think that's how it worked in Mega Man 3 anyway. At least he's not one of the guys that jump around. Those are always kind of the tricky ones to deal with. No, not Mr. Grenade Man. Not to be confused with actual Grenade Man from the Mega Man series. Ouch. And again, the last stage also showcased something that, you know, is also another one of those things where, or not really last stage, but just kind of this first video, it kind of showed another one of those good things about Mega Man where, you know, once you kind of get past the first stage and your first Robot Master, from then on you can kind of go at a pretty, like, reasonable pace through the game because you have a Robot Master's weakness at that point, which I think is kind of nice. So it's like, okay, well, I at least made it past the starting gate. I can make it pretty damn far through this game. That's always a good feeling. That's kind of one of those things that I always kind of try to remember when I play Mega Man games. It's like, okay, well, once I get one Robot Master down, I should feel a lot better, because I'll at least have another Robot Master's weakness. And wow, we're actually already at the end. This is probably the easiest stage to actually get through without, you know, taking a death. And behind these doors we have Shadow Man, the ninja. Honestly, Shadow Man's probably he might be pretty easy to beat, like, as the first Robot Master too, honestly. Doesn't really seem to have, like, that much of an attack pattern. But yeah, let's go ahead and get the Gemini laser out. This should make pretty quick work of him. So I want to say in the original Mega Man 3, okay, there we go. I made it through, I can relax. But yeah, in the original Mega Man 3, Shadow Man was weak to Top Man, and Top Man is not in this game, because he was in the Mega Man 2 Game Boy game, so they had to kind of change the weaknesses around a little bit to make that work. But yeah, we beat Shadow Man, we get the Shadow Blade, doesn't look like we get anything else, and I think I'm actually going to end this first video here, so thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time when we take out Sparkman, who's kind of all alone by himself now. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Later, folks.